Hey everyone, Austin here from Lifted Life Garage. In today's video, we are going to be installing the Back Industries Revolver X4S tonneau cover on here. So, I used to have a toolbox tonneau cover, and actually an American Work toolbox tonneau cover combo on this truck. When I bought it, the original owner had it installed on here, and I cannot say enough good things about that system. The toolbox was great, extremely well made. The tonneau cover was about as waterproof as you can get when it comes to a tonneau cover. However, I decided to take that off and go a different route, just because I don't really have a need for toolbox on the back of my truck. Whenever I'm taking my tools anywhere, I usually use Milwaukee pack-out system. I also want to put a RC. I'm going to be putting an RCI rack on here with a rooftop tent, and take this thing, do some overlanding, some camping, and things along those lines. So one thing I really like about the back Revolver is I can actually still utilize this roll-up tonneau cover with the RCI rack that I'm going to be putting on here. Now, part of the reason I went with the Revolver roll-up tonneau cover is because of a couple different reasons. First and foremost, I like the idea of a hard rolling cover, so a little bit more structure than just your soft fold roll-up cover. I like it better than the tri-fold covers. They're a little bit sturdier, the tri-folds. However, whenever you have those all the way up, you lose visibility out your back window. So this is a great, nice, clean solution, something that doesn't stick up super far, provides protection from theft all the way down, has a locking channel all the way down. A lot of really good features about the Revolver X4S. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Okay, so here's everything that the kit comes with. All right, we'll start off. So you have your passenger side and your driver's side rail. So these will sit right on top of the bed rail on the right and left side. You have your clamps. These will attach to the pinch on the bottom and the bottom of the rail and hold those onto the bed itself. You have a 3/4 inch thick foam strip that goes along the head of the bed. And then they also give you some alternative thickness foam. If you already have a drop-in bed liner, you're going to want to make sure to use the thinner stuff, not the thicker stuff. Then you have a couple straps. What these do is when the tonneau cover is rolled up, they will clip to the top of it and allow the tonneau cover to stay there, so it just kind of holds those. This is a little hardware kit that allows the actual rolled up tonneau cover that will mount to the end of the rail, so that's what you use for that. And then these are for when you do roll up the tonneau cover, so it does not make contact with the window if needed. So nice, super easy kit. So we're going to start off, well, I guess you're going to start off making sure that the top, every contact point of where this is going to be is nice and clean. You want to get a nice clean surface so all the adhesive tape sticks with no issues, and then that way you don't trap any dirt or anything in there. So we're going to go ahead and you start off by putting the headliner up. So we'll put this up along the top, and then we'll go ahead and get the rails on. Okay, now that we have our surface cleaned off, we're going to go ahead and get the tape, the foam tape sealant along the front of the bed down. This will just prevent further waterproof it. It's not 100%, but definitely helps. So you want to make sure that you don't stretch this out too much and that you apply a nice clean line of tape against the front of the bed all the way across. Okay, now that we have our tape sealant applied to the front of the bed, now it's time to get the rails installed. We're going to start off here by installing the passenger rail. Now, a couple things to note when putting these rails up, okay? You want to make sure that they are pushed as far forward into the bed as possible. There's a little metal tab that comes out and pushes up against the part of the bed that is right behind your window. There is a foam piece of tape on there. If you have a drop-in bed liner installed, you want to make sure you take that piece of foam tape off, and then spot check to make sure that the rear of the bed rail is in line with where your tailgate is going to close. Once it is, then you're going to go ahead and just ensure that that everything is lined up, that rail itself is again slid all the way forward. What I did is I put the clamps on, I got them started by hand, and then was able to pull forward on the rail itself, pull it towards the front of the vehicle, again to make sure it's snugged up against the front of, or the front side of the bed there. So give it a little tug, pull it forward, and then you can go ahead and clamp that down. Now the directions do provide a torque spec associated with the clamps themselves. I have a little 3/8 gun there. Usually I find 3 to 4 Ugga-Duggas to be a good tightening power on there. Note, if you don't have these lined up correctly on both sides, if one is offset a little bit, you may have to loosen these and slide the rail forward or backward once you get the cover on itself. But I was fortunate enough to be able to get them snugged up to the back of the bed there, tightened on, and then I was able to move forward and put the additional 2 clamps on. So there's 3 clamps that attach the rail to the bed itself on each side. Once you are done with the passenger side, then you just go ahead and repeat for the driver. Okay, once you get the rails all mounted and tightened up, it's time to put the actual tonneau cover itself on. All right, so I would suggest leaving this rolled up and then lifting it and placing it on the bed itself within the rails. You're going to start at the back of the bed and then unroll it towards the front of the vehicle. Now, the way the tonneau cover mounts to the rails themselves and attaches, there's 2 bolts on each side that slide into channels on the front of the tonneau cover itself. Those bolts have a metal and a rubber washer. Those will slide into 2 slotted grooves on the rails themselves towards the front of the vehicle. So what you have to do is you have to kind of fish the bolts through the actual slotted grooves, and then there are these plastic knobs that they give you to tighten down. And so what you do is you're going to go through and you're going to tighten. Make sure you roll and unroll the tonneau cover a few times to make sure it is aligned and on there straight. Make adjustments as needed, and then once it unrolls and rolls perfectly straight in the channel itself, then you can go back in and tighten those down. Now, one thing I will say I really like about the X4S model is the new retention clips that they put on here. So they used to just have your regular buckle style clips, but kind of what was a problem with those is you had to come in from the front and slide them under like that. So it kind of made it, if you had it rolled all the way up, it made it really challenging to get that clipped in. Now what they did is they kind of give a little T-clip. So what you do is you insert it in the slot, twist, and then it allows you to pull and roll that cover a little closer to the actual clip itself. So a really nice update on the new X4S model. Okay, and then the last step here, once you get everything tightened down, is you're going to kind of find where you want to apply these rubber bumpers to. So you can do that by just rolling this all the way forward and seeing at what point you want the bumpers to engage. So for me, I want them to engage right in this slot right here. So I'm going to tilt this forward. Let me see. Actually, one here. So this is the one I kind of want them to engage. And then you just 3M tape. Run them right on the inside of this. Push that down pretty good. It's about 40 degrees out today, so it's a little cold for this adhesive stuff, but I am going to go through with my heat gun and just heat some of this stuff up, better retention. All right, so here you can see the locking mechanism. which each individual slat as this rolls has this little notch in it. You can see that notch right there, okay? So as that lays flat, when this tab closes, you can see it locks into that little latch right there. So it literally locks the entire way down from anyone from getting in from the outside or anything like that. And when you close it at the end, you hear it latch in and you are good to go. Now the only downside about this cover specifically is as you roll it, you can't only open up certain sections of it. Either has to be all the way open or all the way closed. But all around a really good option, a nice tough rubber finish on here. So now they do suggest you either take like a hair dryer or some type of heat gun. Be careful with the heat gun, obviously, and heat this rubber up so these little bumps that you see in it smooth out. So there you have it. Okay, and that wraps up our install of the Back Industries Revolver X4S hard rolling tonneau cover. As you can see, it is a nice flush mount system, a nice clean look, easy on and off, and provides some protection from prying eyes and the elements for your pickup truck. Appreciate you guys watching, and make sure to like and subscribe for future content. Have a great day.